I have far too many tomatoes in this one pot.
In the last video, I mentioned being scared to transplant these because these were all I had. I figured I might as well just kind of pick off the smaller ones and kill them and try to tend to the larger ones and leave them in this pot. But since then, my wonderful friends at Shiloh Center Farms gave me some tomato seedlings
For free.
Now I don't have to be scared about killing these guys because I have some in the garden already.
So thank you.
I'm actually going to plant these outside the garden because I am out of room. Which is hard to believe because I feel like that was a pretty big garden. But guess I was wrong. Going to transplant these peppers too. I think the dandelions can stay crowded. We'll just see what happens with them. Here we go. These are the beans. Since last time, I am beginning to get flowers on mine, like I said my daughter had on hers. And teeny tiny little beans. We grew them out of just dry beans from Aldi. So we'll see if they actually make something that we can use. And this is about 1 week after thinning out the kale. 1 week after thinning out the spinach too, and I have no idea. I don't know. I guess we just don't get to eat spinach. Yeah. Could somebody send me a PDF or a resource on spinach growing in or out of containers? So, the kale is already noticeably doing better. Although I did get some critters, I guess, since I thinned it out. I don't know if it's because, I don't know what it's because of. Maybe it's just this time of year, really. And then those are the carrots I already showed you in the last video that I thinned those out. But what's cool is I do have some, oh, not that one, that's a weed. I do have some sprouts coming up. I don't know if you saw that weed before I picked it or if I have another one in here. Okay. So that is a carrot sprout. That is a false carrot. It's a weed. And I've got them all over my yard. It's kind of like my ground cover in the back of my yard. But that's where some of this dirt came from. So I guess I'm just going to have to deal with it. We are thinned way out and watered in. And I am praying I didn't do irreparable damage to their roots. And I'm standing in the light. Why do I always pick the worst time of day to do these? I got it down to, 5 or 6 plants per pot, which still might be a lot, but I figure some might not make it. Oh, he looks sad. I might find a stick and stake it. So I got all those to put in the garden. And you notice I just kind of tried to keep, the soil they were growing in. And I filled it with this mix, which I hope is good. This is everything that I showed in that last video, all mixed up and sifted. So I sifted it here because tomatoes or peppers, put your peppers, go in that hole. One of the guys I watch on YouTube said that tomatoes will grow directly in compost. I don't know that that's true with peppers, so I'll use the rest of this when I plant the peppers in the garden. And like I said, the tomatoes, I am going to be planting in some clay outside the garden because I'm out of room. Alright, so I lied. I am sifting it. I don't know why I lied to you. I didn't mean to lie to you, but I lied to you. This is all just my own compost. Smells good, feels good, and hopefully the tomatoes will like it. Would also like you to take a minute and admire my snazzy wheelbarrow. I needed a new tire, and I only had like 20 bucks, so I got one that's way too small. And one of the handles broke, but never fear, I had a real good stick. Now, it's a maple sapling. And she's a little bendy too. But it works. I'm hoping that since the tomato leaves are poisonous, that nothing will come and eat them, and I'm also hoping that the kids don't trample them. I'm going to put 2 per trench. I knocked the dirt, the clay, really loose down in the bottom there, and I'm just going to fill it up with my good compost and see what happens. My garden outside the garden is complete. Well, kind of complete. I still got to come back and pull all the grass and stuff, so hopefully they'll grow. But if not, it is what it is. It's just an experiment. Peppers I'm planting in the spot of my dead spinach from last week. I planted the spinach in little diamonds down this whole thing and I transplanted it. I said I didn't care if it died. Well, it died. So now hopefully these transplanted peppers won't die. I have a question about this guy. I think it's a turnip. I might let it flower just to see if it self-seeds. These were all here from the frost. So I planted them really early. Nothing was happening. I did grow some little guys like these. Pretty sure that is indeed a turnip. Yep. So I don't know if those are even going to get any bigger, because this guy that's going to seed, I mean, I've seen turnip greens way, way bigger than that. I feel like all of my greens should be way, way bigger than that. I don't know if it's timing. I don't know if it's soil, quote unquote soil. I don't know what it is. But oh, I also, since I had a bunch of the peppers and I wasn't sure whether or not they would die, I planted them a couple between my carrots just to see what would happen.
I have far too many potatoes in this one